What do you say to the people who are like, I see that worked for you and that's great, but I don't know how to do that?
I just focus on that relationship with God, because I think that at the end of the day, God just wants that relationship with you, and he just wants you to acknowledge that you can be better, and you just have to start.
Whether you're looking for inspiration, guidance, or simply a moment of reflection, you're in the right place. This is Wisdom Stripes. I have to interrupt the episode for just a moment. I have something really special for you. For a limited time, when you pre-order my new book, HeartPrint, you'll also receive the HeartPrint Holiday Bundle. It includes 3 bonuses. Bonus 1, 5 weeks of wisdom, journal prompts to carry you into the new year, written by me, made for you, my dear wise women. Bonus 2, an early access excerpt of Chapter 1 from HeartPrint. Bonus 3, and this one is a personal favorite of mine, you'll get the Wise Woman Antidotes to the Inner Critic, a guide to help you quiet that inner voice that's hurting you and help you return home to yourself. This bundle is available only for a short time, and it's my way of saying thank you for being a part of this community and walking this journey with me. You can pre-order HeartPrint and claim your bundle through the link in today's show notes. All right, no more interruptions. Let's get into today's episode. And as always, thank you so much for being here. Hello and welcome to Wisdom Stripes. My name is Meg Tuohey, and today's episode is all about shifting from survival to structure, leveraging social media and building systems that bring financial freedom to life. Our guest today is Nicholas Sakha, an entrepreneur, strategist, and funding expert who has gone from being a broke college student to a top-performing insurance agency owner. Through his entrepreneurial journey, Nicholas learned the power of goal setting, strong whys, and the importance of consistent self-development. From starting his career as a banker and pizza delivery guy to building a top 1% insurance agency using social media, Nicholas now teaches other insurance agents how to scale their businesses using the same strategies that helped him achieve financial success. Today, we'll dive into Nicholas's journey of overcoming obstacles, finding his purpose, and how he's helping others do the same by building systems that allow for growth without burnout. I'm thrilled to welcome Nicholas to today's episode. This is Wisdom Stripes, your no-nonsense, fierce fairy godparents, helping you break free from the chaos, structure your life, and create the financial freedom you deserve. Nicholas, we always start with the same question for our guests. What wisdom would you like a listener to come away with today?
Well, I would just hope that my story inspires somebody. I just, as I share my story, there might be some wisdom that people can take from it. But for me, I would just say that probably just the power of writing things down. I know that manifestation, some people believe it or some people don't believe it, but just the power of writing things down and seeing it every day and working towards it, magical things can happen. So let's go with that.
Let's go with that. And so we have a beginning, humble beginnings, and we have great success. Could you talk us through what you now know about building yourself from maybe nothing or close to nothing to something? Tell us about that journey.
Yeah. So growing up, I had a lot of siblings. My dad tried to do the 2-wife thing and had 9 kids. And so there was a lot of mouths to feed. We didn't have everything, but we had everything we needed. We had the food on our table, the clothes on our back. Our parents split, and we at some point moved to Las Vegas. And so just, I think that not having everything ended up being the biggest blessing that I could have asked for, because it just drove me. It made me hungry. It made me want to to just help, especially my mom. And just that growing up with that lack or being told no when I'm like, Mom, I need a haircut, or Mom, can I have some extra money to go out, hang out with friends? And just being told no did something to me, to where as soon as I could start working, I would start working. So like whether that's working in a cafeteria at school or working on my neighbor's yard, I would say yes to every opportunity that I could to just get something. Because I wasn't athletic either. So that ended up being a big blessing in disguise, that I was forced to just work on myself and work on just trying to earn an income and earn money. And that just turned into, one foot in front of the other, turned into great things that have happened in my life. And I'm blessed to say that I've been able to, do the things that I set out for, like help my mom and start a business, start multiple businesses. And so it's just been an awesome journey. But yeah.
I would love to, if you feel comfortable, talk about what it's like to take care of a parent. So I can hear, and I would guess, that your mum is very important to you, and that there was a goal for a long time to be able to ease her life or bless her life in some way. And it does sound like you've been able to do that. Could you talk us through that experience?
Yeah. So when I was younger, I would recognize and acknowledge her paying with credit cards. Like I knew the difference between a debit card and a credit card, and seeing her pull out the credit card when we're at Target or when we're at Walmart and have to pay for it. In my mind, I'm like, she kind of implanted that I don't have this money that I'm spending. And so just watching that and then watching her work ethic, it was very important for me to, like, I got to repay her. It doesn't matter how I feel. I need to do whatever I can to make sure that I put her in a better situation, because I just have to do it. So this was like my first biggest why. And here at this office, we're right by the MGM, at the MGM, where she has worked at that Starbucks for maybe 10, 15 years.
So we are in Vegas. Just for anyone who's like, where is the MGM?
Yeah.
What is the MGM?
At the MGM, there's a few Starbucks coffee shops in there. And she's worked at Starbucks for maybe 20 years, cleaned houses on the side, did everything that she could to provide for 5 kids. And just when I go there and just seeing the long lines and all the people that she's serving, doing it with a smile on her face. A lot of her coworkers are maybe a little bit younger than her. To me, I'm like, yeah, I've got to go harder. It's like whatever I'm doing, I just need to make sure that I'm doing more, because I don't think she has a backup plan, right? I think she put her kids and put everybody else, animals. She's a big animal lover, but all these things in front of her, and so that's why it's been, to answer your question, it's been rewarding to give her that relief and to let her know, like, hey, I'm keeping my promises. Like, don't worry. Like, whatever you're worried about, like, just shut up. Like, like, not to mean a negative way, but like, just I got you.
Yeah, I can read that in you. I have 2 other follow-up questions. So if you have a dad with 2 wives, so 9 total kids, but 5 belong to your mom?
Yeah, so this is a funny story. So my dad is from Afghanistan. My mom's from Poland. And they met in San Diego, and then they got married, and they had my older sister, and then they had me. And then at that point, my dad being Muslim, it was okay in Islam, it's okay to have multiple wives. So he ended up getting another wife, which my mom, being from Poland, she's like, I don't know how I feel about this, but she's lonely. So she stays with him because she enjoys like just the, the family and all this stuff, and sticks with him for at least 4 kids. And meanwhile, he's with my stepmom also, having kids with her. And so like he succeeded for a little bit in having multiple wives, but at some point my mom said enough is enough. But the funny story about that is that I have a half brother that's 3 months younger than me. And I have a younger sister that was born on August 11th, 1991. And I have another half sister that was born on August 11th, 1991.
I mean, what are the odds?
So we basically like, I have twin sisters, but they're not actual twins. It's just that
They share the same father.
Yep.
Wow.
So he went from one hospital to another. And so at some point, my mom split up, divorced my dad, and met my stepfather, and then moved to Las Vegas, which is why I've been in Las Vegas ever since. But that's that story.
Okay.
Interesting dynamic, right?
Yeah, it really is. Thank you for sharing that. Do you have any big takeaways from that experience, that context growing up? Anything that sort of sticks with you?
I think the biggest thing that I'm forever grateful for till this day is the amount of love that we grew up with. Like we didn't have, it's like I said, we didn't have everything. We were very like, we got told no a lot, seeing, and just, but we never had a shortage of love. And I think that that's all you can ask for. I know that, I guess it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different when with like, I think my sisters per se, my sisters maybe didn't have the best relationship with my dad. But I know that for the most part, we grew up with all the love that we needed. We grew up with the food, the resources, the roof over our head, clothes on our back, food on the table. And to me, that's really all you can ask for, to have a parent that's there and versus not there. So yeah, that was great.
Curious mind wants to know, if it's all right with you, do you remember the moment where you understood that it was on your heart to take care of your mom financially? Do you remember how old you were, where you were when you were like, oh, that's my job?
That's a great question. I think it ties really closely to when I got into self-development and like, cause I was a big gamer. I played a lot of video games growing up. And at some point I just felt this tugging on my heart that like, this isn't productive. It was right around the time when I was able to start working. Cause when I was like, when I'm before video games, or before being of age, I'm like, okay, I'm not old enough to do anything. Like I can't, what am I supposed to do? But working in like the cafeteria, just seeing like her work ethic, I'm like, okay, so I could work at a cafeteria. I can make $5 an hour on one period, like during one period of school, which is basically like, let's do the math on this, like $30 a week. So I can make $30 a week working in the cafeteria. Like, okay, I'm in. Sign me up for that class. And just taking all these little opportunities. But I think it was right around that time of 14, 15, 16, where I started being aware of, okay, if I work, this is a transaction. Okay, I get this, but also recognizing that, okay, this still isn't enough. Like this ain't nothing, right? So I got to keep working to figure out how I can accumulate more to be able to deliver on these big promises. So I think around that time is when I got into writing things down, listening to self-development CDs and illegally burning Tony Robbins CDs, sales CDs, joined a couple network marketing businesses that didn't work out, but I got a good amount of self-development and knowledge from those. So I think it was right around that age frame where I started being intentional about, okay, I need to, I think I feel like everybody when we're young, we're like, I want to be a millionaire by 25, and then it's like super unreasonable, like because it didn't happen and then you stress yourself out when it didn't happen. But right around that time, I was getting very intentional about writing things down and studying self-development and just studying how to become better, how to earn more, things like that.
Curious. I wonder about your experience now. If we fast forward to 2025, where are you at in your dreams for your mum, in your dreams for your career, in your dreams for your entrepreneurship journey, and in your dreams for your personal development?
Yeah, I'm grateful. I just don't have the words to really express how grateful I am for God and everything that he's done, because I feel like everything I've written down has manifested. Like everything from getting married 2 years ago to having my first daughter a year ago, to having multiple businesses, and just things are just happening. Now, not everything has happened, and there's still work to do, but I just have that peace of mind that God keeps his promises, that things have shown up in my life that I dreamt about for so long. And so that's all the evidence that I need to be able to share that with other people, that it's like, hey, it's possible. And also to just do more, whether that's helping, philanthropy, all those type of things. But yeah, everything from, I literally just asked my mom for her mortgage info. I'm like, just use my account information. Like, I've been helping my mom financially, just sending her money, but just next month I'm officially taking over her mortgage, which is something that's like, heck yeah, this is something that I've always wanted to do. Sending her to Poland with my grandma later this year, because my grandma, we don't know how much time she has, but just something that she hasn't been to Poland in 10 years, I believe. So it's just like being able to do stuff like that and not flinch at it. That's probably, it's really awesome. It's gratifying. So.
Do you have a sense of why that calling on your heart is so strong? Because if we look at the numbers, there were 5 kids, and it's your heart that was tender or turned towards this as knowing it belonged to you and picking it up without any kind of resentment or ill feeling, but almost a heart of gratitude to serve your mum. And that is an interesting tone. And it is an interesting, for me, idea around, why do you think it belonged to you?
It's a great question. I probably don't have the answer to it. I think it's just more so of a DNA thing. Because I would love to say that, I know that my mom is the most amazing mom in the world, but I know that a lot of people feel that way about their moms, and, she just told me that our childhood, when we were growing up, this woman that also lived with us in San Diego, 70 years old, still cleaning houses. And to me, someone like that deserves it just as much as my mom, so I don't know. I can't really give the answer. I just know that it was placed on my heart, and it's just something that I always I don't know. I really can't explain it.
Are there other things on your heart as important as this, or more important?
Yeah, I think the more I grow as a person, and the more I grow in business, the more, other things are being placed in my heart. I love, and I don't know what's going to be my nonprofit. I still haven't quite figured that out. I've done a variety of things, given time at orphanages in Mexico, and I've spent, I every time I see stuff happening in, in Palestine, or earthquake relief anywhere in the world, that stuff tugs on my heart. But I don't know what's going to be my thing. So until then, I'm just trying to give as much as possible until that does get placed in my heart. But I think, I don't know who said it. It might've been John Maxwell, leadership guy, or somebody else, but we spend our first part of our lives. There's 3 parts of our lives or 2 parts of our lives. 1, earning as much as you can, and then 2, trying to give it all away. And so I don't think I'm I've earned, I'm here yet, because I'm just a little fish in this big pond. But my mind's already working as far as what will some of those things be, because I do think that God's going to call me to do something else too.
Well, it already makes sense because you already started that. When you look at your mum, that was like a long time ago that was placed on your heart, and now it's a few decades later and it's come true. So it makes sense to me that loop is going to repeat, and that at some point you'll do your next version, which is why I was asking.
Yeah. And my mom loves dogs. She has this huge heart for animals, and she likes to just take in every animal she possibly can, almost like a savior for animals. And a part of me would love to help fund a business where she could do that. But the thought of of, I don't know, that sounds horrible, but like anything happening to her and then me having to take all that on, I just don't know if I want to step into having to take care of like a couple hundred to 1,000 like animals. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, it's not your dream. That's her dream, right?
Yeah.
And you don't dream of things that don't belong to you. And you don't dream of that, right?
But I mean, you see these like social medias, like where like it's somebody taking care of like a dog, or they find a stray dog and then they start getting it on its feet. Like those things make me cry. Like if you like
Same.
Every time, like they never fail.
The Dodo ones. Do you watch those ones?
No.
Oh my gosh. Dodo is a channel where they basically tell stories of rehabilitated animals. And they show their journey from when they were found to when they're healed. And I'd like watch a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Cry every time.
Oh, I love
like,
that.
Yep.
Yeah, so, me too.
But I'd love to create something like that. I think that'd be cool because I like animals too. It's just, I don't know if I love them enough to be the person that has to step in the event that, I had to. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, you'll know when it's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me what you're working on at the moment. Tell me, I can hear the things that have been on your heart that have come to fruition. And now I would love to know more about what you're growing through at the moment, because we never get it done and we never get it right. So we never get it finished. So what mountain or frontier are you climbing at the moment?
This one's tough because I could tell you all the business things that I have in mind, and there's a lot. All the philanthropy things that will come to mind. But I think what I just thought this yesterday, that it doesn't like I have a baby girl that's 10 months old now.
Congratulations.
And thank you.
Yeah.
And it right now, what I'm thinking or wanting to work on right now, let's just say like it's going to happen. And it's, now it's it's 18 years later and everything that I was working on, or those seeds that I planted today, like are here. I don't think that will hold a match to anything I don't think that will hold a match to me being present with my girl right now to like observe and just, you know what I mean? To try to like take in and be present with everything happening right now. And so that's the tough dance that I'm in at the moment. It's like, how do I do both effectively? And when you want to be super great, if you want to be a Kobe Bryant, there's really no balance, right? Like he knew he didn't have balance. Like to become Kobe Bryant, it didn't there was no. He did the best he could as a father, but there wasn't that. I'm sure now he wish he can go back, of course, but that's a tough thing that I'm balancing out right now. Is just trying to enjoy her growing up while still doing everything that has been placed on my heart, and that's a tough dance. But what we are working on is I've grown a big PNC insurance agency. And
what does PNC stand for?
Property and casualty. So like auto, home, life insurance. And the goal is to continue growing this. At the same time, we've done a lot of big things with social media, and we're growing on social media, not in the conventional, like I'm selling insurance or like that's my content. Like we're growing in the humor realm of social media, which I find fun. That's what's interesting to me, is making people laugh. And so if you look at my social media, it has nothing to do with insurance.
It doesn't. I just saw one yesterday or this morning, and it was blackfish, whitefish with the fried chicken.
Yeah.
I did like that. I did like that a lot.
And so we just like to have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
Randall, he was one of my best friends that when I needed somebody to help me with social media, we brought him in, and it's been growing ever since. And so I think that we can do some amazing things there and really like grow anything we want to grow once you have that brand and that recognition, but also with our community, we created a community where we're helping insurance agents also use social media to grow as well. So that's been fun. And that's been a cool project as well. But really just seeing where everything goes, that's like the main things right now. But as entrepreneurs, it's always like shiny object syndrome. Like, what if we did this and what if we did that? And saying no to more things than you say yes to.
Yeah, I totally get that. I think the the experience of being a parent does pull you into questioning, how might I like to live this time I know I have with my child? And all of us understand now that 90% of the time you've spent with your child is done by the time they're 18. This is the window where you get the depth of time. And it's also the years of your life where you're a bit of a powerhouse and you've got real capability and capacity to build. And also your future self from a retirement perspective and being able to fund and support your child also requires you to have an income. And so doing the balance of being present and also being a leader of the family that allows income to be there, it's a delicate balance.
Yeah, I think you articulated that perfectly.
Mm.
It's a dance, and I don't know all the moves. I'm learning it as I go, but I just know that I hate to say this, but like I just try to just take it day by day because you just don't know what can happen tomorrow. And even at the cost of the sacrifice of like, oh, I could be here or I could be doing this or that. It's a delicate balance that I think we're all trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm. And I think some of us need to make different decisions either way and hope at some point the other side can balance itself out, because life is an imperfect science, isn't it? You never get it all right all the time. There's always something we're working on. There's always something out of balance.
Yep.
And we're always working to try and stabilize the ship.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Physical, physically, it's always, I got to get to the gym or I got to eat right or
see a friend.
Connect and see your parents as much as you can. If you're lucky enough, they're still here. Like, how do I see them as many times as possible? Talk to them and just be a good person, or like try to help sibling. Like that's another interesting dynamic is focusing on your own family while still trying to be there for your extended family, right? Like that's an interesting dynamic too.
Especially when you have 8 siblings. That's like a lot of extra, and I mean this really lightly, it's a lot of extra work. It's a lot of additional relationships.
Thinking, just, are they okay? How are they? I wonder how they're doing. Just reaching out to them. And so, yeah. And then having boundaries as well. I think that's a great thing to have a big family, but it's also like, you got to make sure you have boundaries as well. So
interesting. You're grappling with all of the things that all the humans grapple with. And also you're doing it at scale because 8 children, 8 other siblings is a lot. And it's an unusual amount in this day and age to be like managing. And so it's not a common conversation, I imagine.
Yeah, no, it's not. Sometimes it's a beautiful thing. And that's why also it's kind of giving me perspective that I probably only want 2, maybe 3 kids, because I just think that there's just a lot of variables. And, I look at my dad and I can tell that all those kids, it takes a toll on like just your thought process, like on having to worry about everybody. So,
yeah, I imagine there is, if we were to step into his shoes, that's a big burden. So both mothers carry 4 and 5. That's a lot of children. But he carries 9.
Yep.
That's 9 birthdays.
And then grandkids.
Oh, yes. We've got grandkids. We've got holidays. We've got relationships between siblings, relationships between their mothers, relationships with self. It's a very busy web of relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what Nick is up to these days.
That's what Nick is doing. All right, Nick. Talk to us about something that you're finding really difficult or you have found really difficult, and talk to us about how you navigate hard complexities.
Yeah, something that's difficult. Man, I would say it's balancing everything in business, trying to stay ahead of the curve. Like something right now at the time of this recording is trying to make sure I understand all this AI craze that's happening. Like how do I get ahead of all the things that are going to be happening with that. Because I think if you make this a priority a year from now, you're already going to be behind. So I think it's just balancing the existing businesses. I don't think that any business is truly passive. Like, it'll be passive for a little bit. Like, I have a team of 20 plus employees. They can operate at a high level, but after a while, I'm going to have to insert myself into it. This was literally this past 2 weeks, or all of last week. I was traveling. I was gone for the whole week, and I come back to a couple of issues, and I'm like, all right, anything that I thought I was going to work on this week, it actually needs to take a back seat, because this business, my employees, I have to dive into this right now and make this my priority right now. So everything else, it's like secondary. And just figuring out those priorities, balancing out between the, it always goes back to like, relationship with your family, relationship with God, relationship with, yourself in the gym. I think how I handle everything best is when I do things that serve, like, that fill my cup. Those things that, like, my go-tos are always some yoga. I do some yin yoga where it's just, I'm there, stretching pretty much. Other things that I do is just a good workout. Like, a good workout always gets you in the right state of mind. But it's like little things, like, maybe you're not drinking enough water, or maybe you're not being hydrated enough, or these little things that we often discount that throw you out of whack. So I know I took that in a lot of different directions, but that's typically how I get through chaos is just is some movement and writing things down, just getting things out of my head on paper. Like, what's really stressing me out? Is it, okay, I write things down. I'm like, okay, it's not that much, And then actually spending the time to actually get stuff done. I think a lot of times how often are we giving ourselves like time frames of uninterrupted work? And I'm guilty of that.
Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt completely aligned with who you truly are? Not who others expect you to be, but your authentic self. In my new book, HeartPrint, I share the story of Ellie and her wise woman, Elizabeth, a journey that will help you reconnect with your own inner wisdom. Like a fingerprint, your heartprint is unique and unchangeable. It's always there, even when life's pressures make you feel disconnected or small. Through this intimate story, you're going to discover how to trust yourself again and make choices that honor who you really are. Visit www.megantuohey, which is Meg and Tuohey.com/book to begin your journey home to yourself. It is the third or so time you've talked to us about writing things down. So it feels like it's time to pay attention, because I feel like that is something that is maybe a strength of yours. So I like the idea of writing things down because you get that external perspective. Your brain can look at something objectively, more so it can than when you're thinking it, right? So your brain can start to work on it when it can see it, for example. Talk to us about how you have learned the art of strategy using pen and paper.
Yeah. Well, I always say that there's some sort of magic, some sort of sorcery, I guess if you may, that happens when you just write things down. Even when I was studying for some of the hardest tests that I had to pass, just writing the question out and then writing the answer, instead of just like doing it digitally, clicking a button and then reading, oh, I got that question wrong, actually getting it pen to paper and that just registering into my subconscious brain. I think that that's a real thing, as wushu as that might sound. I think that's a real thing. And every little thing, from when I got out of a 6-year relationship and I spent a year and a half just working on myself, having fun and working on myself and figuring out, okay, that sucked. what do I do next? Like, how do I make sure that that doesn't happen? And then diving deep into figuring out, okay, where did I go wrong? What did I lack? What can I work on next? Okay, boom. Now that I've addressed that, now that I've figured that out, okay, what do I want in my next partner? Like,
Mm.
what does she look like? What does she smell like? what are her features? What is her personality? All these little things. And I remember writing the ideal partner that I wanted to manifest. And I don't even like throwing that word around because I think sometimes it's like, I don't know. I think when you hear a word so many times, it loses like its power. Like, oh, manifest, what's that mean? But I literally created my wife in a sense that I wrote down everything that I wanted her to be. And also it was like a T chart. On the next side, I put everything that I needed to become to be able to earn that person. And then after writing it down, my process is write it down and then type it out because my handwriting's ugly. So it's like even I can't read it sometimes. So after I write it, boom, it's registered. Then I type it out and I hung that in my closet wall. So every time when I was getting ready to go to work, I would see it. And then not that long after, I ran into her in a Pilates class, and then the rest was history. So,
oh, let's not do rest is history. Let's do how long did it take you to recognize her?
how long did it take to recognize her?
That she was the person you dreamt of.
So I think I was still in my having fun stage. So healing. Some people call it healing. I call it having fun, healing, both. It's a combination.
Yeah.
But I would say after a couple of days and just that still wanting to hang out with her. A big one was just I think it's just that it's like I still wanted to hang out with her, you know. And then the sense of humor was a big one. But I think after a while, it didn't take long because I remember telling her, actually, you know, it's so funny. Like we talked about that on like our very first date. But to me, in my mind, it was just like, I'm just being friends and let's see where this goes. But it wasn't like I told her that this is like my thing. I just told her that this was something that I had done. And she had said that it's something that she had also, her mom encouraged her to do as well. And that's exactly how she realized that her last relationship wasn't a good fit, when she realized that he didn't check some of the boxes of that list. And so I think early on, actually, and there was a couple of ones where like I hung on, I was like, I'm still waiting to see if she checks these boxes, you know? But it was pretty quickly.
I'm really curious. Do you reckon that you and her made that list about the same time?
I don't know.
I wonder.
It very well could have been. Actually, now I probably should ask her.
Yeah.
I should ask her when.
I just wonder whether there was some kind of both of you writing out the list within some close amount of proximity of time.
That would be intriguing. That would be interesting. And I'm gonna find out.
What would you guess?
I would say at least a year and a half of within each other. Like has to be at least within a year and a half. I'd be shocked if it was over a year and a half.
What could be the closest amount of time that it could have been?
Maybe 6 months.
Interesting.
Maybe 3 months.
Because I mean, that's a beautiful idea, isn't it? For anyone listening that's looking for love, if you're writing your list, on one side all the things you dream of in a person, and on the other side all of the things you would have to grow into in order to match that person, it might be a lovely thought to think that somewhere not far away from you energetically is a person dreaming of you, also writing a list. That's a nice thought.
Yeah. And I mean, there's 8 billion people here, right? Like, there has to be somebody also writing it down. But now that we've got this message out, maybe it'll happen more.
Well, you know, you never know. I remember when I wanted to meet my husband, I remember where I was when I made the decision that I was ready. And when we met each other about 2 months later, he had said around the same time he'd made the same decision. We didn't have the lists, but we had this like, I'm ready. It's like the shoes dropped, I'm ready to find my person. And it was a very different feel inside of me, at least, when I made that decision.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to find out as soon as I leave here.
Yeah.
Like,
you're going to
babe.
get on the... When did you do the list?
Right. Did you put a date? I need to know the date.
Do you still have the list?
Yeah. Yeah. But what was funny about that was I believe her previous relationship like found that list and then and it caused like a little argument because he wasn't some of those things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah, that's an inconvenient truth, as Al Gore would say, about the environment. Like, because
there's realignment though.
Right.
Because somebody else, it's like that you could be that person.
Yeah.
That exact 10 out of 10 for somebody else out there.
Well, that's the whole point. But sometimes it's hard to give up the idea that it's not you and that I might have to end this and brave the world to find that resonant match. That can stir up some big feelings.
It can. But that's why it's so important to like reevaluate yourself. Like after something doesn't work out, whether that's like a job didn't work out or you failed in a business or you failed in a relationship. It's like, okay, screw all the external circumstances. Like, what am I sucking at? Like, what did I do to make this not work out? And taking full ownership of whatever that is and then becoming relentless at improving at that.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if we can build a tolerance to the big feelings that come along with failure, so we can tolerate that failure as a data point, then we can use that data in order to grow in a direction that not only is congruent with us, but that allows us to have a different experience of life that's better matching what it is we want to happen. But sometimes the feeling of failure is all encompassing. And it can have us do a spiral instead of being able to take that step back and say, hey, I wonder what this means to me. And I wonder what might have to happen in order to shift the needle here.
And shifting the needle, it like for me, it always comes down to like self-development, writing things down, reading books. Like after my that relationship didn't work out, I read some books like Way of the Superior Man. Like for me, I was always like studying business books and leadership books and sales books. And then after the failed relationship happened, I was like, time to read on relationships, like because that's never something I studied or made a point to look into because it wasn't like it didn't occur to me. So identifying like once you figure out what that is that you need to improve on and then diving into it, I think that can serve you in so many different ways.
There is a bravery in that though, isn't there? There's a bravery in being able to sit in the distress of something not working or you perhaps not being good enough or at the level that you wish you were, and then being able to take action that is towards what it is you do want. There's a courage and a clarity and maybe a tenacity.
Yeah.
There's a choice.
Sit in it.
Oof.
Sit in it.
That's uncomfortable though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shall we talk about how you might build the muscle of being able to sit in that discomfort?
I think having a good having good relationships with people, being able to just talk things through and not it's just the right habits, like not you can choose so many other things like weed or alcohol or other things, or you can choose to sit in it. You can go to the gym and do like positive things that will I think that's just like the positive habits and positive people are what can help take you out of that can help you sit in any sort of life situation and perspective too. Life's so much there are literally people, I don't want to take it this direction, but like it's just perspective. Like there's people that have crazy circumstances based on where they were born.
Yes.
And
yeah, but there is a choice point that all of us get to make about whether we're going to face something or not. And when we have faced something hard, and we've sat through the uncertainty and the discomfort of all the big feelings that come up with that. On the other side, when we've found some resolution, we really do build those wisdom stripes, those insignias you get in the military when you've got another rank, or the gray hairs you get where you've accomplished another thing. I think wisdom is on the other side of those difficult obstacles. So I wonder whether what we might be doing is encouraging people to sit thoughtfully in any discomfort that they're in order to work it out. And maybe writing it down and writing those lists is a really good strategy
It
for
really
someone
is.
to get a picture of what it is they're worried about.
And then when you go back and read it and you see the growth of yourself, it's just crazy. It's the feeling of, like, when you say wisdom stripes, it's like you look back always and go, like, I don't know what I was worried about. It all worked out, like we survived, and that's what we say after the fact. But while you're in it, it just doesn't feel that way. But when you do write it down and you do look back, it's the most humbling and satisfying thing to see, like, man, I really did come out of this better. So
yeah, and then you get to bank it into your identity as someone who can do hard things. And that is something no one can take away from you.
And then you can help others that are going through that same situation.
You can. You have the perspective that you will be okay if you sit through discomfort. Yeah.
You can't help somebody if you haven't,
Yeah.
It's just, it means more when somebody that's been through what I'm going through tells me, hey, it's going to be okay.
Yes.
Like, dude, you're on the right path, man. Like, whether it's business and they're just like, oh, dude, you're doing all the right things. You're going to be way further than me. And to me, I view them as someone that's like highly successful. I'm like, oh, really? Like, that means a lot coming from you, man, because you've already
done the thing.
You've already done the thing. So
yeah.
I think there is good perspective in whatever happens to you, just knowing that someday you'll be the voice of reason, or the voice, the helping hand to somebody that's going to be going through the same thing. And when you can look at it from that scope, it's like, cool, this is bigger than me. So I've got to get through this.
Right. You can leverage that altruistic part that we all have that says, I can help others when I really understand this piece of wisdom. And there's something really satisfying about that. I think most humans are motivated by that. Yeah. Really beautiful.
Whether they recognize it or not, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think so. And I think if you are listening and you're like, I don't know if that's me, then maybe sit a minute longer with it. And I think you'll find examples of where it's deeply satisfied you to help someone else based on your own experience.
It is.
Deeply.
A first example I thought of is my wife, when she started posting content after she became a new mom. Like, she started posting just like mom content.
Yeah.
She's never seen so much people like chime in and give mom feedback. And so, like, her audience has never chimed in this much in anything she's talked about. But what do all these people chiming in have in common? Well, they're moms.
Yeah.
And so they can speak to their experiences. So whether they realize it or not, they're trying to share their wisdom stripes.
That's so beautiful. Well, I think communities like to share and they like to help. And I think sometimes it gets a little skew if it goes a bit haywire. But when we're in that space of giving from a place of hard-earned wisdom, and we do it with a loving intention, I feel like we can build huge community, and that sense of belonging is so important.
Yes.
Yeah.
We all need community.
Yeah, we do. I agree. We've all gotten to know you really well during this conversation, and thank you for being so open with us.
Yeah, of course.
We have one last question for you, and it is, I wonder whether you have any last piece of wisdom or advice that you'd like one of our listeners to know. Maybe it's something new, or maybe it's tied back to something we've already talked about.
Yeah, I'll say something new. So when I was at my, I guess if I had a breaking point of any time of that I can recollect in my memory, it was this. I was a 7-year banker, and I was a 7-year college student, just paying as I could go just to finish my undergrad degree, because I didn't actually believe in college. I just did it because it's what I was told to do. And I also didn't want to go into debt. So just paying these dues for 7 years, I was at this breaking point of like, I think I'm 26 and I'm broke. I like moved back in with my mom at one point. I I've never made more than $46,000 a year. And I'm not a big fan of like, I'm not doing anything that I thought I was going to do. I told myself a million by 25, be a millionaire by 25, and none of that happened. And I do this 5 mile run that I would do at this time. And I remember it's like at the very end of Las Vegas at the time. It was like you run this street, 5 mile run, and at the very end, it's nothing but desert and stars. And for whatever reason, this was like a different run. I don't know why, but I was just emotional. And I get to the very end of the run and I just start praying. I am praying, and I feel like Lion King when Simba is looking up at the stars and there's Mufasa there, and he's like, like that. It felt like almost like a moment like that. But I'm praying and I'm crying because I'm just so sick and tired of not being where I wanted to be. I was sick of being broke. I was sick of paying my dues, going to school. I was sick of failing at these little side businesses that I was doing. And I was just, I was at this, like, I can't explain it, but this was a very like supernatural experience for me where I just felt, I just remember it, I guess. I just remember it. And I knew I wanted to be a business owner. And that was probably the main thing. I was just like, I just want to be in a better situation. I want to be able to help my mom. I want to be able to do all these things that I set out to do. And I'm not there yet. What is going on? So I prayed and prayed and prayed and crying. And I finished that run. And over the next 7 to 8 years, this is where my life has taken me. And everything that I wrote down has happened in one way, shape, or form. And so the last piece of wisdom is go to God. Go to God. Every time you feel defeated, or anytime that life hasn't shaped out the way you wanted it to be, or you're not, you're stuck, go to God.
I like to do a little segment called Yeah Buts. So here we go. I channel the yeah buts in the listener audience, because I think lots of people are like, that's great for you. And what they mean is, yeah, but I don't have a relationship with God. Yeah, but when I've needed God, he hasn't been there. Yeah, but is there another way you could describe this? Yeah, but I don't know where to start. Yeah, but I'm not religious. Yeah, but I wish that would happen for me, but I've been forsaken. I haven't been included. What do you say to the people who are like, I see that worked for you and that's great, but I don't know how to do that?
It's valid. I know that people feel that way. I felt that way. Yeah. From someone that was baptized Catholic to being raised Muslim to moving to Vegas and then learning about Christianity, I am as confused when it comes to religion and spirituality as they come. I joke and say I'm a Chrislam. I say that all the time.
What a wonderful word.
I'm a Chrislam. And it sounds stupid and preposterous for someone that's a Christian or someone that's a Muslim, because it's like, you need to decide, bro. Like, but I just focus on that relationship with God. Whether I say in Jesus' name or I say Alhamdulillah, like, it doesn't matter. Because I think that at the end of the day, God just wants that relationship with you. And he just wants you to acknowledge that you can be better. And that, I would just say that I think he will meet you halfway in your pursuit of where you want to be and who you want to be and the impact that you want to leave on this world. You just have to just start, even if it's talking to him, and maybe not even talking to him just when things are bad, but talk to him while things are great. And focus on the good, because there's so much good that we just don't like to focus on. So that's my message for those people.
Thank you for being so gracious with my yeah buts.
Yeah.
I do have a follow-up question though. So for those who say, I get it, and how do I know that I'm in connection with God, source, universe? Because there's different constructs people use, and I often think it's a very similar source. Yeah. How, for those who are just learning how to find that connection, how do you articulate a good way to find that connection?
I think how you articulate a connection with anybody, just by communicating, talking, thinking, spending time in silence,
Listening, maybe.
listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like we know we get so many answers. We get so much. I think we can lose this connection when we do things that were like things that are toxic to ourselves. Like you can ruin that connection. It's like for example, the first thing that comes to mind is like, when you're hungover, right? You don't feel connected whatsoever. You're just trying to focus. Like I need some water, I need some electrolytes. You can do things, right, that maybe will eat at your conscience and affect that source. But I think when you're intentional and you're communicating and you're writing things down and you're listening, spending time in silence, it's important. That's where you'll get that connection. And I can't really explain it. I just know that every single time my back has been against the wall and I have prayed, things have always turned out okay, better than I ever expected. And that 5-mile run, that's like one of those ones that I remember the most vividly. So I think that's the best way to find that connection.
Yeah. And maybe you could just open yourself to say, I'd like to begin a conversation or a relationship. And in that space, see what happens when you do that.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Just take the first step.
Yeah. Like you said, with any relationship, the first thing is saying, hey,
I need help.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, exactly. Hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Howdy.
Yeah, we could start there. We could start very simply. Yeah. That was a wonderful conversation. Thank you for coming and sharing so openly with us.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Yes. I'd like to thank Nick Sakha for joining me today on Wisdom Stripes. In today's episode, we explored Nicholas's journey from his humble beginnings to becoming a top performer in the insurance company and the wisdom he's gained about goal setting, building systems, making dreams come true, and using social media to scale a business. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an update. You can connect with Nick on Instagram @NickSakha or visit nicksakha.com to learn more about his work and how he's helping others achieve financial freedom. Thank you for listening to another episode of Wisdom Stripes. I hope you gained a little wisdom today. My name is Meg Tuohey, and this is Wisdom Stripes. Thank you for listening to this episode of Wisdom Stripes. Follow me on @MegTuoheyOfficial and leave a comment and review. I'm looking forward to meeting you here next time on Wisdom Stripes.